Hey guys, what's up? Let's turn that mic down. Live radio, you know how it is. Okay, hi everybody, welcome to the FIIGS podcast show. It's gonna be a cracker today, and this is my first tune, Diana Ross, old school. Hear the lyrics, get the idea, lock on. Sorry guys. Hi guys, I've got two amazing guests today because if you've been watching the socials, if you've been listening, and even if you haven't, we've got a great show today, and we're talking about being mixed race, we're talking about being pansexual. I spoke to my brother about that on the way, and yeah, we've decided that he definitely is. And we're talking about being mixed race, pansexual, living in London. And you know, I want to know about it. I want you guys to know about it. Spread the word, raise some awareness. Everybody's got their right to live exactly how they want to live. The studio number for you guys is 07413 574 009. It's WhatsApp only, but the lines are open for comments. I've got literally a studio producer and a co-guest. Like, she is like everything here. Big up Sweetness.
Oh, stop it.
Big
Hello,
up
everyone.
on your last show. It's always excellent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's always really good. Right, so you need no introduction, but I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself anyway.
Hi, everyone. I'm The Sweeteners. I'm a singer-songwriter from East London. I would say born and raised, but I was born in Ireland and I came here when I was very young. So the memories of that are very hazy, but they're still there. Mixed race, half Nigerian, half Irish. And yeah, I'm also now a DJ. Very newly joined the DJ world, and that's why I'm doing this show now, the Underground Music Show, every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. on the Hub Live Radio. I've also got my own event that I run with Empress Dems, my co-host, which happens every quarterly, every month.
Plug it out, girl. Plug it out. Yeah.
Get in touch with us. Our next show's in March.
Plug it out. Okay, and my next guest.
Hi, my name's Bradley. I am Marsha's brother, and I live in London, have done my whole life. I am 39 years old now, and have been out since the age of probably 2. All my family knew that I was going to be gay before I did. But
That's so true.
They did. It was quite like, yeah, definitely he's going to be gay. So it was quite easy sometimes, but in other ways, difficult. I am a hairdresser by trade, and I'm just starting my own charity.
Shock.
Yes, shock.
Beautiful hair, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so basically, I want to know, I don't know who's going to go first, probably ladies first, I'd say. I want to know, guys, especially from you, Sweetness, when you came out, when you knew, let's start with when you realised. Let's start there.
Oh my goodness, it's a funny story. So yeah, I didn't say my age. I'm 37, guys. I want to say I came out when I was around 20 something, 26, 27. But it was mainly to my parents and to people that like my closest friends and family, because I think they kind of knew, but then it just wasn't something that we spoke about. And it's also because my first relationship that I entered into very young, when I was around 18, was with a guy. And we were together for 10 years. So in my teenage head at that time, I was straight, you know what I'm saying? And but then obviously I kind of knew that I've always had sort of like feelings and attractions towards more than one sex, if we put it that way, from a very young age. But I suppressed it, being growing up in a Catholic household, coming from an Irish background as well. I kind of had those thoughts in my mind that made me think that maybe there was something wrong with me for a long time. So I kind of didn't want to talk about it for that reason. So yeah, it took a long time for me to get to the place where I was like, you know what, I want to do.
How old were you then?
Very young, like 12, 13. So, and I just pushed it down, sort of thing. And then it just got to a point in my life after I split up with the guy that I was with for 10 years. I was like, it wasn't working for a long time. I wasn't happy, and I was like, obviously, I'm not living my authentic true self. So this is what I need to do and make a change for me to feel better in myself, and that's what I did. And it turns out, one of the reasons why I kept it from my parents as well is like, I didn't think that they'd accept it, especially my dad's Nigerian. You know how Nigerian parents can be sometimes. But luckily for me, I told them, and they were like, listen, Jennifer, we really don't care who you love or who you end up with, as long as they make you happy and they treat you good and treat you with respect. So, it was all in my head.
What had given you the impression that your parents might not like it, even aside from them, your dad being Nigerian, aside from that, what made you think that they wouldn't like it?
I don't know. I just think old-fashioned values and stuff like that. And my dad was very much a very, Catholic man. He went to church every Sunday and stuff like that. So, and I pulled away from the Catholic religion later on in my teens when I started university, and I started doing singing full time as well. And I was like,
getting a bit of sense.
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't for me. And so I think that was a reason why as well. I thought, he'd judge me, but it was just me being silly, because at the end of the day, I spoke to him about it, and he was like, doesn't bother me, as long as you're happy. And he goes, you didn't need to tell us. He goes, we already knew, kind of thing.
I love that. And do you know what? That's the maddest thing. Your parents and the people around you that love you, they watch you so hard, and they know things about you that you don't realise that they know. You don't even realise those things about you. When you're growing up and your parents telling you, you're going to like this, you're like that, how do you know? But it's true, though.
So true.
It all turns out to be exactly that. So that's brilliant. That's your side of the story. That's when you came out and when you first realised. Now, Bradley, over to you. When did you first realise and when did you come out? Tell us about it.
When did I first realise? I first realised when I was probably going through puberty and I was in high school and realised that I was attracted to boys. Yeah, that's when I first... And
like, it was very apparent. I was like looking at the girls and thinking, is this right? Is this normal?
I love that because you were in the right environment, sweetness. You
Yeah.
were cool. Banging. No one's going to clock that.
It kind of became a thing when I was going to be naked in front of other boys, and that didn't happen until high school. So then that was a conscious moment for me when I thought, right, shit, how am I going to manage this now? And that's something that I had to think about. I don't know. That's how I felt at the time, because I wasn't necessarily comfortable with these feelings. They were new to me. They weren't familiar. I didn't know. I wasn't like, I just... Right. So then you talk to your friends, and I remember speaking to a friend and saying, you know, like, sometimes I, like, you know, get a little bit aroused when I'm around guys. He's like, that's normal, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I think I'm going to be gay. He's like, bruv, you don't have to be gay. That's normal. Anyway, it kind of developed from there, and I came out officially to friends once I had been to a gay club and on a holiday and had a gay encounter. Yeah. But I never really came out to my mum. She just kind of expected it. At 2 years old, I was running around in her high heels, like naked, in the middle of the park. So it was, yeah. It was something that I came to terms with at a very early age because I was allowed some freedom of expression, but I didn't label it for a long time until somebody else labeled it for me. I guess there was a bullying incident.
That's the thing as well with me. I think at first I used to call myself bisexual for many years, and then it's like I came across this new, because there's all these new terms coming out, I think every few months, and it's like I came across pansexual and I was like, this is more what I identify with. But for a long time, it's like there wasn't a necessary need to label it, but it's like now it's become a thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone wants to, you know, have these labels and, you know, so that people can differentiate. So that's the only reason why I thought, you know, I need to make a distinction. But for me, it's just, I've always just been myself. And I think when you
there are a lot of differences
yourself,
now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
It's interesting for me because I was growing up in an area that was probably quite... It was a colourful area, but not in the rainbow colourful kind of way.
Yeah.
It was...
What area was it?
I grew up in Church Road, Northwest 10, Harlesden.
Okay.
Until I was 16, like minutes from Stonebridge. Stonebridge was there, Harlesden was there, Church Road was there,
in the thick
and
of
we
it.
were in the middle. So you better deal with it. And I kind of was expressive with myself, so I started dyeing my hair pink at about 12, 13. I was wearing like corduroy flares and, you know, these extravagant outfits, and nobody ever bothered me. People would look at me and just like shake their heads and leave me alone and carry on walking. And my other friends that looked normal, that were trying to blend in, were getting all of the like stick about whatever. They got into so many problems, and I used to go out like looking like a certain way, screaming for attention, and nobody batted an eyelid.
It just goes to show is that, you know, when it's like own it, you know, sometimes when you own something, people are more likely to
think
just
I
leave
was
you alone.
just comfortable with who I was expressively, and then it was only when you know, start leaving the house alone and staying out and getting into adult situations that you start to consider where you might sit sexually and what encounters you want and what encounters you don't. Like, so yeah, I was 16 and we were on a holiday in Ibiza, and I decided before I went there, this is my chance to express my thoughts. And
Ibiza's the right place to do it as well.
No, hold on. Let's just slow this down a bit. We went to Ibiza. I, responsibly or irresponsibly, I don't actually know what that is right now, the answer. You'll have to tell me. I took them to Ibiza, their first experience. How old were you?
I was 16, I was 16.
We went to Ibiza for a week. Oh, my days.
It was months before my 17th birthday. And we had, I wasn't even the youngest person there, but I'm not saying anything else. The point is, we had a really good time, and it was on this holiday.
Like you did.
Yeah, that I was
came
able
on this trip to Ibiza
to have this encounter. And it didn't come out what had actually happened until years and years and years later, which is an even funnier situation. with our other sister, finding a diary of mine that had the encounter written down in it, like details of it. But nobody knew that I'd had an encounter while we were in, and I was in my 20s by now, and this has happened when I was 16. Okay. And so we found this diary. I was going through some old stuff, and she looked at it and read the diary and said, "Who's this? What happened in Ibiza?" And anyway, it all came out. That was a good family moment. It was.
Can you imagine? So I've taken them on this holiday. Everybody's come back safe. Big 5-6 years later, this diary comes out about what actually happened.
Yeah, what actually happened.
Is that the first time that you'd had a sexual encounter?
It was my first sexual encounter with another guy. Yes, outside of like, childhood.
I think mine probably happened around the same age, if I'm honest.
Really? Yeah. So, the stages of you coming out and that encounter, you were already out by then, weren't you?
I wasn't out, no.
You might as well have been.
I was still in character, yes, but I hadn't defined to anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've spoken about when you first knew, you've spoken about your encounter. When did you come out?
Shortly after that, I think. Okay. Yeah, shortly after that.
Tell us about it, because that's the question.
Like I say, it wasn't a big deal for me. Because
yeah, so what happened? No, it wasn't a big deal for you, but it happened to be a big deal for everybody else.
No, I'm just saying that there was this expectation that I...
So what about when you told Dad?
That was a whole different story.
No, but that is the story of the
but that wasn't coming out. That was coming out to Dad. That's a specific...
Oh, well, yeah, well, tell the public about that.
So, when
that's
when
massive.
you forced me to come out to Dad...
Well, it wasn't me. It was Uncle Barry. He said...
So, this is what had happened. I'd come back from Ibiza. We'd gone on for a few years and, you know, everybody's characters develop. And the conversations were taking place in the background about, Bradley. And I was starting to, you know, be a little more comfortable in where I wanted to take my life. And I decided that I was going to be bisexual. That's what I decided. And it was spoken about. And I was cool with that because, you know, I didn't want to limit myself and I wasn't ready to label it yet. I was still going through that process. Yes. I was still going through that process. So, at some stage, it was decided that we needed to tell Dad. And
tell the public first what your dad is like.
I'm just about to.
Good.
So, I am half Jamaican and half English. My dad is Jamaican, and he is, a typical Jamaican Rasta man. Yeah. He's great in character and big in strength and strong in opinion. So, you know, he was anti. Like, I knew he was going to be anti. And for me, I would have preferred to just avoid having to do any of this. So, yeah, it was brought up and addressed. And I was like, right, fine. So let's do it. And then I said, actually, do you know what? I don't really care that much. If you care so much, Marsha, you do it.
and that's what happened. I had to tell my dad. And my dad blamed me. He said, "Are you all make it happen? Are you..." Honestly, I got into so much trouble for you being gay. Literally, I got into more trouble. Yes, I got into more trouble.
It's always the way. We always get in trouble for the younger ones.
It was terrible. I got into trouble for him being homosexual, or we've decided now in the car on the way here, pansexual.
It wasn't being homosexual, it was for encouraging it.
yeah, for encouraging it. And allowing it to happen.
And allowing it to happen. So, me and my dad didn't grow up in the same household. And so I was very conscious of my mum's acceptance and didn't feel like I needed his. So it wasn't something that I was going to bring to his attention because I know how I think you're going to react.
Yeah. And I hear that.
Based on that alone, I don't want to tell you, but even if you were going to give me your approval, I don't really feel like
I love it.
Yeah, I don't. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't important to me at the time.
I love that. I love
really
that.
Cool.
I love that. I love that honesty as well. So, and I hope that whoever's listening here that hasn't come out yet, whoever you are, you know who you are. No big deal, because again, like Bradley said, you don't need acceptance from other people. You really, really don't.
And do whatever you do it for you. Don't ever do it for anyone else.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As long as you accept yourself and you're happy with who you are, that is the most important thing. And when you project your vision of your life onto other people, if they can see that you are uncomfortable or not sure, they're going to pry on those things because they care about you, not necessarily because they want to put you under pressure, but because they care about you. They want to make sure you're going to make the right decisions with your life. So you need to be sure in yourself before anything, so that you are unwavering and, you know, you can go through with commitment and be strong and happy. Show that you're happy about this new coming out that's happening. This is the main thing. Nobody should come out and be sadder than they were before they did. That should not be the case. You should come out and be free and be happy. And the people around you that love you should be happy for you because they can see and appreciate the freedom.
No, I agree 100%. And I think as well, for me, I had the opposite. Like, obviously you were doing all of that, dyeing your hair pink and green. I've always been quite an eclectic person and character, like doing mad stuff with my hair from young. But I feel like once I did get to that place where I was like, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to project myself and my true authentic. I feel like people could see that, and like I've had so much more just realer relationships and conversations and experiences with other people because of that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree.
Listen, it's all about being true to yourself, and that's what you two are demonstrating. That's what I love. So now we're going to talk about the bad side of being who you are, what the downfalls of it, the day-to-day, the general concept, and after that we're going to get onto how that's changed or if it's changed. So you got the mic in your hand. Go.
What was the question?
The question is simply, what's the downside? What's the downside? What have you found since you've come out, since you've been more open, since you've been more public?
Personally, I don't necessarily think I've had any real bad negative experiences where it's made me feel like, you know, attacks to myself personally. But then obviously there are downsides, and it's different for everyone. And also I feel like there are some parts of the LGBTQI plus community that probably do experience worse situations than others, and I don't know why that is, but me personally, I think the first long-term relationship that I had with a woman, that kind of taught me a lot as well. And I think how it ended badly, and obviously I thought, you know, this was going to be the one and we were going to be together forever, which I always do. I'm one of those people. I'm a hopeless romantic. No matter who I get involved with, I'm like, this is the one, like we're going to be getting married, and it's like never the case.
Guilty.
You know what I mean? Is it just, I don't know. But so that kind of taught me a lot, and it kind of, the way that, so for example, one of the things that was the reasons why the relationship ended was because she kept something really big from me, and it was the lies that I couldn't deal with the most. But yeah, personally, I think for me, I haven't had that many negative. But one thing I will say that annoys me is that when I do tell people that I'm bi or pansexual, they're like, isn't that just the same as being bisexual? And then I have to explain the difference. And it's like, that just annoys me, and it just weirds me out. And it's like, also, shaving your head, that's another thing. Like, if you do anything, when you shave your head or make yourself look a little bit more androgynous or like more masculine and you're a woman, it's like all of a sudden, oh, she's a lesbian or she's gay. And it's like, obviously, yeah, I do identify and I am part of that spectrum, but it's like, it doesn't mean that you get to be able, like, oh, do you know what I mean? That kind of part of it does annoy me a bit and get my back up. But me personally, I think I've been quite lucky that I haven't had many negative experiences. And so maybe Bradley can elaborate a bit more on that.
He's definitely going to, but first I want you to do exactly that and explain to the public what pansexual is, because the first time I ever heard it was with yourself.
I don't know if I'm going to explain it properly, but I would say being pansexual is somebody who identifies as being attracted to the person and not the outside, if that makes sense. So it's not about you being a male or a female. It's more about who you are. And I'm very big on energy and connections and vibes. So if I have vibes with you, remember that you're a man or a woman, and we have a connection, then that's what I go off of. So that's what pansexual means to me. And I think that's the difference between being bi and being pan. When you're bi, you just like men and women. Yeah. Pansexual is a lot deeper than that.
Interpretation. Definitely. Yeah. Said very well.
Thank you.
Negatives. There are negatives to everything in life. And I have always been a person that has gone out into the world looking for them, if I'm honest. Because,
Stop it.
no, really, because I kind of have always had this thing where if I expose the worst details about myself and, you know, everybody knows everything about me and there's no secrets and everything's all above board and up front, then there's nothing anybody can hold against me. Yes.
Sorry, I just asked Bradley if I could ask you a question. What star sign are you?
Ah. What do you think?
You're not an Aries, are you?
No, but I am a fire sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mum is an Aries. I'm a Sagittarius. Yeah.
He's very much like his mum.
More and more so now.
Honestly. So you're right to choose Aries, yeah?
Yeah. That's a good guess. Right, fine. I'm getting that energy. There's negatives to anything, and I've always gone out into the world, kind of like, you know, if everything's up front and it's all exposed, there's nothing anybody can hold against me. No secrets to come out, and there's no vulnerability at a later date. But I didn't realize at the time how vulnerable exposing myself so much would make me to other things that I hadn't even thought of because I was so busy avoiding having people expose me. Crazy. And I've navigated that and dealt with that. And it's been something that's taught me a lot. And at this late age of 39, I am much more discerning than I used to be. Still very, very naive on occasion. And, you know, I am a fantasist at heart. So I will fall in love with the story and the vision and, you know, the hope and everything else. Yeah, the dream, you know. But I have found myself in few traumatic negative situations, so we say, because of the skills or resources that I've built up to avoid putting myself in that situation.
Okay, so with that in mind, neither of you get homophobic slurs anywhere you go.
Well, actually, now that you say that makes me remember something that happened to me many years ago, and this was before I was even. I don't think it was. Yeah, I think I was out then, and I think I was still. No, wait, no, well, I wasn't still with my first boyfriend, but it wasn't. I hadn't fully. Anyway, I had a shaved head, and I had the top part. So I had so the top part of my head was still attached. So I still had hair at the top of my head, and I had extensions. So I had a big like sort of bun, so all the extensions were like wrapped into a bun. You've probably seen me with this hairstyle, and then all the around the sides was shaved. And I was on my way home from work, and I used to work in, what's it called? I used to get the C2C. It's the station where it's the Finsbury Park. So I used to work in Finsbury Park, and I'd get off at Finsbury Park and I'd get the C2C home. And this particular day, I was so tired, and I left the office late, and I got on the wrong C2C train. And I didn't realise. I was all there, like half asleep, reading my book, and then I heard the announcement, and it was going to Shoebury Ness. I don't know if anybody knows where Shoebury Ness is, but I know because when I was very young and I was in primary school, we went to Shoebury Ness. It's a shit seaside. There's no sand. It's just pebbles. Yeah, I cut my toe on the pebbles. Yeah, I will never forget going to Shoebury Ness. Anyway, so I'm on this train to Shoebury Ness. I'm meant to be going to West Ham. I'm like, oh my God. So I've had to get up, and I'm like, so I've had to get up at the next stop. And anyway, so this guy gets on. This is before I'd realised that I was on the wrong train. And he's like, obviously, he sat down, he's a white guy, and I could smell drink when he came in onto the carriage. And so obviously he'd been drinking, and he sat down, he's huffing and puffing, and then he starts pacing up and down. So I'm thinking, what for this guy? Like, do you know what I mean? Is he going to do me something? I'm just sitting there, minding my own business. And then he's like, yeah, people like you, innit? People like you, your sort. And just starts slurring abuse at me from the other side of the train. So luckily for me, I didn't know where I was. So I was thinking, you know what, I want to get to a station that I'm more familiar with so I can sort of work. But the next stop, I was like, yo, I need to get off this train. So I just pressed ting and I got off. And yeah, I never saw him again. But clearly, he was disturbed by my appearance. And, you know, I got the vibe that he thought that obviously I was you know, probably gay or something, and you just basically get the vibe.
Not like
I'm not stupid. No, but it was just there were some other things that he was saying that I can't remember now that probably more cement. Yeah, but it was just that's the vibe I got. Do you know what I mean? So that's maybe the only time I would say that I got the impression that it was because of, you know, my sexuality, that this guy was uncomfortable around me and then was decided that he wanted to hurl abuse at me for no reason. So it's very, 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 very uncomfortable. And yeah.
Well, there you go. So that's the kind of gossip we want. And let pass it over to Bradley. I'll put this over here. You guys can
Since I was in school, I've never really been verbally attacked. It used to happen all the time when I was in school. But since then, it hasn't. I haven't been verbally attacked. Maybe once or twice.
There are probably some listeners listening in that are thinking you're very lucky, because I know there are people out there that have had much worse experiences, and I've heard about them myself, friends of mine.
Yeah, I guess I have been lucky. I don't know. I haven't had this experience since I was a much younger age.
Well, I know both of you, and I would say, to be honest, you guys are promoting, it's not about the label, it's just about who you are. So you're literally treated as who you are, decent human beings. Do you know what I mean? And you look cool. The pair of you look really cool. You're trendy, you're up to date. And that is a great reflection on the British public, how far we've come in this day and age. And that's what I wanted to speak to you about. I mean, have you ever felt that things have changed? Do you think things have got better for the LGBTQ community?
Well, to me, it seems like it's definitely getting better. The acceptance and the celebration around the whole topic, and the eagerness for understanding that people are coming with is, I think, everything.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Without that interest to want to know more and to want to learn and to want to develop your understanding, how does anybody get anywhere?
Yeah, I think that's what's so beautiful about it as well, that there's more acceptance on a much broader scale, and people that are, now, for example, even me, when I meet someone, I'm more conscious of, like, what are your pronouns, and I don't want to offend them. So I'm like, are you, and then if they tell me, I'm making a conscious effort to address them correctly. And even I had someone ask me recently, so I was like, that was really, I was like really impressed by that. And I was like, oh, thank you for asking. I mean, I'm she, her, but I might not have been, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's what's beautiful about it. And I think I was saying this to Bradley earlier, that it's so nice that the generation that now, and my generation even, and generations to come, they're so lucky because things have changed and are changing for the better, and they have so much more freedom to express themselves and be who they are without judgment.
What do you mean without judgment? If you call anybody anything, you are being judged. The judge is judging you. You could go to jail for insulting people. It is the serious thing out here. And it's
finally been taken. It's nice that it's finally been taken seriously. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have fought for the rights of us.
I mean,
there
is a lot. There's a lot. We have still got a long way to go, because I mean, we're in the UK, and I know there are loads of places in the world where it's not the case. And
of course,
and they live in a completely different reality. So my hope is that in the future, changes happen all over the world, and that we can live in a world where people can just be who they are without people, persecuting them for nothing, really.
I think the conscientious effort that people make to be more mindful of how they address people, how they present themselves in different communities and with different audiences, is everything to changing that behavior. Because in order to stop yourself from behaving in a certain way, you need to be aware of it. And the fact that you then think about how you're going to interact with people before you actually make a move is so important to just changing the mindset, because it's not only about people that are discriminated against or small minorities. It's just a general thing that people should do. You should be mindful and conscientious about when you talk to somebody, no matter who they are, male, female, women, black, white, gay, doesn't matter. You should have thought in your head and intention behind everything you're about to do. And if that is the circle of change that's happening, I think that's a really good thing for the planet.
I mean, I agree. I want to add to that as well with regard to unity and what being united can actually do, how powerful that is in any community, and that
100%.
that's where that comes from, because before, nobody was coming out, like back in the day, people weren't coming out, it was a taboo subject. There was a law that was passed in 1988 under Margaret Thatcher's government to say that they couldn't advertise homosexuality, that it wasn't allowed to be advertised. But what I think's happened is the more, like you said, influence in different areas that come out and say, well, hey, I'm gay. Like in football now, you've got a few people coming out and saying that they're gay. It just brings that unity of a whole collective amount of people that actually, I mean, hello, we've got how many football leagues full up of how much, man? Obviously, there are going to be gay men playing football, and what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I love that.
I think the collective thing of exactly what you're saying with regard to the unity, and people stand up and be counted, and that count means that it's recognized. And if you're in a society where people only believe that one person out of 1,000 is gay, then you don't have to, or transsexual or bisexual or, you know, whatever your minority group is in whatever community, you have to address that.
Absolutely, it shouldn't be ignored because, like you said, it's a person, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that we are in a cycle of change at the moment, and long may it continue. I'm here for it, man. It's like long gone are the days that my mum and dad grew up in, where you couldn't walk into a pub because it said no dogs, no blacks, no Irish, and no gays. So
seriously. So that brings me on to my next point nicely with regard to the music. I've been doing a bit of research. I had a conversation with somebody during the week, which was really interesting because I was saying that it's mainly black artists that bun out against gay men, homosexuality, basically. And he said, why is everybody always picking on the Jamaicans? You need to go and do your research. You need to go and do your research. So I did. And I have found a whole bag of other nationalities that bun out against homosexuality. However, this is my point, and this will always be my point. We don't listen to that music. We don't listen to Russian music. We don't listen to music from Malaysia. We don't listen to that music. So that interest in that music isn't there. That's why when you look on the internet and you do any form of research about homosexuality and music, literally the most searches you will get will be with regard to reggae music and Jamaica and Beanie Man and Buju Banton and all those people. That will be the main source of income. I had to go deep and press the thing that says more results, honestly, because I wanted to know. So recently, this pop band called 1975, they done a concert in Malaysia. Malaysia's a massive Muslim population. That's their main religion there. And literally, they started cursing out the Malaysian government, saying this isn't right. Why haven't you got this freedom here?
I heard
it's
about
too tight, yeah. And then he kissed another guy on the stage.
Yeah, I heard about this.
But don't think they didn't lock down the concert straight
I
away.
heard about
they
this because
locked it down.
I heard about this because Coldplay was supposed to do a gig, or they had like a concert out there or something, and then basically they put some restrictions on Coldplay's whole set because of what happened with this band that you're talking about, because of the fact that Coldplay have been known for supporting the LGBT community, and then I don't think any of the band members of Coldplay are gay. I'm pretty sure the lead singer is straight, but they do. Yeah, they do. They are supportive. They've performed at Pride, so they were like, you know what, we don't want this happening again. So then they were like, this is the rules. You're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. So I was just so shocked when I read it, because I was just like, well, not shocked, but in a sense, is
this still happening?
Because
in
obviously
the world, but
that's
it's the
what
same
happens
thing that you're talking about.
Because we're living here, and we take it for granted that we live in this society where we can just roll around and no one blinks an eye. But there are parts of the world where that isn't the case. So when I read the article, I was like, wow.
Russia's another place that they've got loads of tunes that aren't banned on the internet. I've been able to find them that are cussing out people of homosexuality. They're not having it, and they're not stopping. In fact, in America as well, the Country and Western Music Association, the guy that was a director on there, he's just resigned because he refuses not to make what they call murder music. Actually, there's an actual title for it. It's called murder music, and anybody seen to be making murder music or homosexual slurs loses a lot of money. Yeah, they literally have to come out and apologise.
So you're saying the country music scene is against it?
Yeah, because
like
they
that.
are holy. They're religious.
Okay.
However, this guy who's been in it for too long has had to resign because now they've got new people in there that are saying no, we're going to sing about we're going to sing about homosexuality if we want to, and he's saying, well, he's having nothing to do with it. He has resigned from his whole job. There's a serious set of people.
Well,
out
you know,
there.
sometimes out with the old, in with the new.
And that's what I'm finding is going on. So mainly for community and where we come from. It is man like Vibes Cartel. He's not giving up. He is not signing any anti-murder music treaty. He's not signing it. He said man like Buju's had to sign it. I can't find Batty Boy what is it? Yeah, I can't find Batty Boy for Dead on the internet. This is the new version, and it's got the title. So I'm going to play it, and we're going to listen, and this is how much the world has changed. Where is it? Wow, well there you go. This is somebody that has been allowed to say something. It's got the title.
Some of these tunes with the most disgusting lyrics have been my favourite tunes. In times gone by, they've been my favourite tunes, I can't lie.
Listen, we're going to get onto it. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into how you guys feel about this music. I mean, this wasn't even the tune that I wanted to play, but it's the perfect
To be fair, I did used to listen to quite a few inappropriate songs back in the day. My first boyfriend that I was with for 10 years was Jamaican, so we're all just going to leave it there. So.
Well, I think that's really interesting. I want to understand that because I know that if people that were anti-black, for instance, or anti-female, singing derogatory songs about females, I don't entertain that. So what is it that makes you guys do that? I mean, I've seen you, Bradley, dancing up. I've seen you singing in the one, the chichi man. I have heard you, brethren. I've been there in the rain.
Oh
when
no,
you're
it's all coming
winding
out
up
now, Bradley.
yourself to those tunes.
But not in secret, like pretending that, yeah, I'm down with it. That has never been the case. The case has been, I'm not going to be out in a rave enjoying myself and have certain songs come on that were really popular at the time and feel uncomfortable like I can't take part. I'm not doing that. If anything, this is my tune. I'm owning this tune. I'll take ownership for it. I'm dancing to it. Nobody's going to make me feel uncomfortable. So my expression of my, I guess, confidence
and creativity.
Yeah, it's just I'm going to go anywhere and be made to feel uncomfortable. And I'll stand there and I'll dance and I'll sing. I know all the words. Like there was a time in the 90s when I was growing up where there were a lot of despicable, disgusting songs about all kinds of different things that Batman get up to. So, you know, and I might have used lyrics from those songs as inspiration occasionally.
Do you call yourself? What do you call yourself? What, depending on who you're with, does it work like that or what? How does it work? How you look at yourself? What you call yourself?
I call myself a lot of different things.
Right, let's hear some of the things that you call yourself, as long as they aren't too terrible.
Well, they're all terrible. Yeah, I call myself a lot of different things. So at times I'm bisexual, at times I'm pansexual, at times I can be gay. I have my straight moments, like my alpha straight moments. I do.
And he really does. I can vouch for that.
And I went out with girls way before I went out with guys. It's not like I don't know what to do. Or, you know, there was a period of my life I avoided being with a woman in case I was going to create a child. And so a lot of my life I've lived as a gay man in the avoidance of creating children. Yeah, okay, you can use contraception, but, you know, there's always that time where there's a mistake or something happens or it's just a risk I didn't want to take. So, you know, before I decided that I wanted to avoid that area, I was sleeping with girls. It's something that I've done and enjoyed, not as much as when I've, you know, been more creative sometimes. But there are, you know, ways of getting around everything, and everybody is their own person. And if you've got options like me, then you can afford to explore avenues.
Listen, I'll be honest, yeah. We will go out, and it depends where we are. He's, like he said, he's the most straight person. There's nobody in that dance telling him that he is anything to do with gay. He dances with women. Everybody fancies him. All the heterosexual guys get properly threatened. Oh, no, not you again. You're going to nick our bird, didn't you? It's all like that. Honestly, it's a proper thing. And I'm telling you things that I've witnessed, nothing that I've heard. And that's special. Even this tune.
She's happened to me with girls as well, though, actually.
In this tune, like, you're dancing to it, sweetness. What go on with that?
Boy, music
you
is
have a
music
chichi
is
man
music.
sitting next to you. How are you repping this tune, bruv?
I mean, there are some that I definitely wouldn't co-sign ever, and that I think are much worse than others. But I mean,
you was dancing to this.
I was dancing to this in the ring.
Do you like it?
I like the tune. The tune is a tune. It is a tune. I can't lie.
I love that.
I mean, like the melody, it's just a tune. This is a big tune, and I've been at numerous family functions, and everybody knows that I'm gay, and they're playing these tunes. So if they're playing the tunes and I'm there, I'm dancing to the tunes. They're not trying to offend me. I'm not being offended. Do you know what I mean? I think we all need to choose our positions.
There was a girl that I grew up with in school, and we don't talk anymore. We're not going to get into that. But this used to be our song. Like when it'd come on in the rave, we'd be like, "I saw a tune," because it was more about me and my friends on the NZ, just smoking and chilling and catching a vibe. It's not about dissing anyone. Do you know what I mean? That's not what I was getting from it at the time. Maybe I was being naive because I was only in my teens, but that's what
I was
happened.
just about to say.
I think it's a lot to do with naivety.
This
and
tune
not knowing.
is very deceiving. It starts off so nice, and then it just starts licking out. Honestly, it really shocked me.
I think also there's this interpretation of these words that are used, chichi man, and the whole kind of...
What do you think about that word, Brad?
I've got a lot to say about this interpretation because...
Let's hear it. This is the time.
My personal history is based on beliefs and a belief system that was not true. So my dad, who we spoke about, he had a situation with a older relative, and he was convinced from a very, very, very early age that all gay men were pedophiles. This was what he was convinced of. And this only came out to me in later life, before he passed away, and we had certain conversations, and he was celebrating me as a gay man by this time, making me feel uncomfortable about myself because he's celebrating me so much. Oh, Predator. Oh, my friends, I tell them all about you.
He's a batty man.
My son is a gay man. All this, like, you're making me uncomfortable now, Dad. You're being too accepting. I can't take it anymore. This is where we got to. From me not wanting to tell him because I thought how he might react. He changed around his whole world and came with this amazing energy. Great. And once we'd, gotten to terms with everything, he opened up about things that he'd experienced. And he said his interpretation of gay men was that all gay men are pedophiles. This is how he thought. Because there is this historic non-acceptance of expression, especially in the Jamaican Caribbean community, and the elders would, there's all kinds of things that have gone on that are horrible, and this is what my dad thought.
So you're talking about basically paedophilia.
I'm talking about paedophilia. I'm talking about because people don't have the option. Not everybody, but there is a view that if you can't do what you want to do, then you might take a child and do it. This is the viewpoint of a lot of backwards mindsets. It just is. It's part of...
We're here to put that right.
This is the thing. So this is why I want to talk about it and expose it, because it's historic and it's something that has happened and it's personal to me. So my journey with my dad was around him realizing through my existence and my interaction with my nieces and nephews and the younger children around me that I was not a paedophile. So once we had this communication, that was everything to me. That was everything.
That's so beautiful as well.
Everything. And it was a really powerful moment in my life and a really powerful moment in our journey and our relationship before he passed. So I don't, we got to a really good place.
I think that's so beautiful. And I agree as well. I think it's like, it's a lot to do with naivety and also a lot to do with that miseducation and people assuming things and thinking that because, someone can't, necessarily do what they want to do, they're going to go and do, you know what I mean? And I think the beauty of it is that now people are more aware and that is, you know, those kinds of things. Hopefully, I don't think take place anymore. You know,
you have no experience of them, which is like we said, you're lucky because you already know that there are people going through a lot worse. But you've touched on a point there. I can't remember what it is, but I'm gonna get there. The more I talk, the old menopause brain is kicking in. Yeah, you touched on a point with regard to just repeat what you just said, Sweetness. Can you remember what you said? You said that. Oh, come on, we can get there. We can get there. We can get there.
I said that opinions are changing, and obviously there are. I said it with people. It's all comes from people
education,
and
here
information.
We go.
Yes,
this is a big one for me. Education,
100%.
What do you guys think about people that have decided, the government, for instance, that have decided to forget about the law that happened in Margaret Thatcher's age in 1988, and we've gone way the other way now. And what's happening now is they've decided to educate children from a young age. I want to hear what you guys' opinion is about that. And when I say educate children from a young age, they've been educating children from a young age for a long time, but about being gay, and to do with alternatives, and they're basically promoting the LGBTQ community. I mean, we've got rainbows on the street, and like I said, there are books in libraries that never used to happen before.
I think
is it promotion?
The two
or
things
is it
don't go.
inclusion?
It's not one in the
Promotion,
same. I don't
inclusion.
think. So I think that
Inclusion,
because
I
of
think.
the fact that the world has changed and the world is changing, and things are now more visible and even so more than they ever have been. It has to, the education system has to change as well, because it can't stay backdated. And I think I don't think that it's teaching children I think it's just teaching them about. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And making them aware, because a lot of the time there are children that are growing up with same-sex parents anyway. In this,
I love
do you know what I mean? And
I
children
love
that have uncles that are
view.
gay, children that are going to Pride with their family. So it's like they should already, they are already aware. So talking about it at school is just that next step, or it should already be happening, I think. So I'm here for it. But yeah, that's my opinion.
And
anyway.
it's a shame that it had to be like that. It had to be so concentrated, and it just had to be done. When really it should have been happening anyway. It shouldn't have been such a taboo subject in the first place.
Yes.
And then we wouldn't be here now, where people are complaining, "Oh, you're teaching my children how to be gay." Bruv, your child is either gay or it's not.
Yeah, you
will
can't.
never decide your child's sexuality,
It's
no
language.
matter how many people you let them not talk to, or how many things you don't expose them
It's
to.
the same idea
And
behind
anybody
like
thinks
the
they-
fact that you're not born racist. You teach a child to be racist. You teach a child to hate somebody else based on something about them. Do you know what I mean? I'm a nursery teacher by day, and I work with kids, and children don't just see you for who you are. I walked into the nursery today, they didn't blink an eye at my hairdo, because if you can't see me, guys, I've got my shaved head
They
now.
can see
I
you, babe.
used to have some hair, but for those who can't see me, I'm now
Oh yeah, yes,
fully
yes, of
bald.
course.
I'm going on a hair
Forgot about
journey.
you,
But
though.
yeah, my colleagues, when I walked in, they were like, "Oh my God, Jen, transformation! What happened? Why?" You know, I'm so some of them so concerned, but the kids didn't bat an eyelid, because children don't see that kind of
Exactly,
thing. You
and
have
I-
to teach them that.
I love that. So you hear that? You can't teach your child sexuality, but you can teach it how to be racist.
My mum was not teaching me to run around in my in her heels when I was 2 years old. She didn't teach me how to be gay. I did not. The two were separate in themselves, you know. Nobody can have that influence on you. It's
100%.
it's impossible. I welcome it. I think it's good in schools.
I have a nephew. Sorry to cut you.
Go on.
And I'm using him as an example because he's an amazing, beautiful child. I love him so much. He's 6 years old, and he just doesn't see these things. Like, I was doing my nails the other day, and he's like, "Auntie Jen, I want to paint my nails too." So I was like, "Yeah, go on then." I let him paint his nails, and I was doing and the other day I was giving his mum a makeover, and he's like, "Oh, can I do it?" So I let him have the makeup, and he had glitter on his eyes. I love it.
Why
I was
not?
like, "You do you, babes."
Why
And
not?
he's a very eccentric character, and I'm not surprised because he gets it from from me and his mom. Like, we're nuts, and I love him. And he's
I work
amazing.
in a salon, and
Express
we've
yourself.
got little kids that come in, and there's a brother and sister, and the brother and sister, they always want their nails done. And the sister has like green and pink And the brother, he'll have like blue and yellow. Every single time they come in, they have their nails done. It's just a nice little thing. But why should he be excluded from having that experience just because he's a boy? If that's what he wants to do. Why should
this
he?
is where the world's gone. Do you know how many people will be spitting feathers? What do you mean? You're teaching the child, man. You're
Nobody's
encouraging them.
teaching him anything. The mum and the daughter come to get their nails done and get their hair done. He comes with them and he has decided that he wants to be involved and he wants his nails done too. Nobody has booked him an appointment. He has made the request on his own. And then he goes away and comes back and requests again. He enjoys it.
This is what you call being open-minded, and it needs to be taken on.
Exactly. And I think as well, it's just you will always get some people that are just have this backward sort of mentality. Like even I've said I work in a nursery, and we had a staff meeting the other day. Not going to go into any details or name any names, but I can't anyway because the parent survey is anonymous. But one of the parents, apparently, in their little comments that they put, they gave us 10 out of 10 though, but then they still went on to say that they think that gender norms are being too, enforced in a nursery. So the fact that when a female child comes in and she's got a dress on, we're like, oh, you look so pretty. Like, instead of saying that she looks pretty, we should be saying that she looks smart or that she's, it's just ridiculous. Like, why can't I say that she looks pretty? Like, I just think it's some people just, it's just all this PC gone mad.
Start calling the boys pretty too. See if you like that.
That's
the girls handsome and the boys pretty. See what
you know what I'm
saying?
saying? Do you know? Yeah, but people used to say stuff like that. Oh, what a handsome couple!
Did.
What a handsome couple you make.
Did.
And whether that was following man or woman, it still was the same thing. You look good together.
Also, years ago, before the turn of the 1900s, it was normal for boys to wear pink because it was a brighter, bolder colour, and for girls to wear baby blue.
And boys wore dresses then as well.
And the whole thing's turned around. So these things come and go. Like, the seasons. I don't understand why people get so hot up and attached to these social norms or whatever they call them. It's ridiculous.
I am fully heterosexual, but I've never wanted anybody to look at me as, woman. I like being called they or them. Because I don't want people to know who I am before they
You've
meet
always been
me.
very androgynous, very.
Is that something that you only recently?
No, I've been like it all the time.
Oh, I love that.
I love
that. So you're just well ahead of time. She's way ahead of us.
The whole time.
She's like, where have you not been? I've been doing this for time.
First time I met her, I thought she was a guy. Like,
well, there you
no
go.
word of a lie.
I've got no thing about all of that. I don't understand.
She looked like one of my older brothers.
Honestly, and seriously, and my
No,
hair
that's your
was
sister.
much shorter. Stop it. And my voice is deep, and my hair was shorter then. I can see that, B. I can see that. With some baggy tracksuit on, and I'm rolling. Do you know what I mean? Because.
But that's
and
worked
what?
for you.
Yeah.
It served you properly.
Absolutely.
Your whole, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you've made it work for you.
Yeah, I don't want to be. And so when I do put on my high heels and stuff, people go, oh, wow. Oh, why what? Like,
That's also worked for you. And this is what we should be able to do as people.
And that's what I agree with.
What we want when we feel like
that.
it.
I just agree with
and anybody knows, going back to this forced education rubbish, anybody knows how awful it is to be forced to do anything that you don't want to do. So, if you are enjoying yourself, clearly, how is anybody to turn around and tell you, you shouldn't do that, you're being forced? That is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Expression is key, and freedom is king.
Yes, hey, 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 hey.
No, let's listen to Shabba a minute. Let's see what
Listen to
Shabba's
some
got
of
to
this.
say. Yeah.
It's not right, it is wrong. Shabba Ransom love nobody, man. It's not right, it is wrong. Red Dragon love nobody, man. Don't give a lot of money if you don't say him a body, man. Don't give a lot of money if you don't say him a body. Man, don't give a lot of money if you don't say him a body, man. Don't give a lot of money if you don't say him a body. Because it is wrong, it's not right. Tell me people, is it right to roast the fella? Oh, God, time. Dogo, dogo. All night with two big stiff long John, they must have playing sword fight. So send for the Madiga Magnum fish on party man. Boom, boom. Gunshot is the solution. With the one of my current ears in our island. No homosexual, my friend, no mama man.
Nah, this tune takes the piss. It's so bad.
Don't give a lot of money for no saying him a batty man. Go on. party boy, me say you better duck. Cause when you buck shabba, me say you bed bust. And when you see Bobby Dick, shall you run out of luck? You're thinking it don't give a long time, man, if you don't say him a batty man. Don't give a long time, man, if you don't say him a batty man. Because the party boy and them run out of luck. And if them sillies are them have to run and duck.
I think it's so interesting how it's such a big topic of concentration in these songs. Like, there was an obsession. There was literally a time where every other song that was being made was about some kind of, you know.
What? Go on, tell us.
I got distracted. There was a time.
Easily distracted.
Easily distracted. Yeah, there was a time when we were getting a lot of negative media. There was. And I don't understand the obsession with people that are not of a certain way of life being so vocal and so obsessed with a topic that you clearly don't support. Like, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Where that energy comes from to hate it so much. Is that what you mean?
And sing about it and be so, like, you're actually spreading the message whilst trying to stamp on the action. Like, it's crazy to me. Just makes no sense. No sense at all.
It comes down to, again, like, not knowing enough about the subject.
Education.
And
Same thing. We talk about
and
education.
and misinformation. And
So that will change.
assuming.
That will all change.
And I
The next
think,
generation that's
You
coming
know,
up, changing
there are
quickly.
actually more music now that promotes. Like, I know a lot of
I've got loads of tunes on here. This is one of them.
Artists, especially that I met through performing at an event that I would like to promote. It's called Queer Artists Connect
Plug,
UK.
plug.
Please go and check them out. And it's a safe space. And it's an amazing showcase, open mic night for artists of all, you know,
Colours.
of life, spectrums, colours, and all that. But mainly the LGBT. And I performed there many times. And yeah, it's a beautiful place to go
I
and
love
showcase
that
what you
as
do.
well. I love that plug. So what I'm saying is this tune is by an old school pop band called Curiosity Killed the Cat. It's called Misfits. I think it's been an influence. It's allowed a lot of people to basically fit in. And the lyrics are brilliant. I love this tune. If you know music, you'll know about this tune from back in the day. Misfits, you hear that? I love it. Old school 80s pop. And after this tune, we're going to line up a girl called Girly. Have you heard of her? Girly. So she's clearly gay. I don't know where she fits in. However, she makes some banging tunes. Her lyrics are clear, concise. She sends out a clear message, just basically saying it's cool, it's all right. And I know for a fact that she will be amongst the younger crowd. Like I say, we're actually going to start dealing with a more diverse and empathic society. Do you think that's coming up, Brad?
Yeah, I do. It's definitely the way that things are going. Because people are interested. They're just interested. So that they don't, upset anybody. They don't embarrass themselves. Whatever your motivation is, be interested.
Even to the point now where, like, when I go to Pride and stuff, the places, festivals and stuff like that is mainly LGBT, especially Pride, it's like you see now a lot more of people that aren't necessarily, straight people at Pride celebrating with their gay and homosexual friends.
I love
so
it.
I love that. Do you know what I mean? And more of that needs to be continue happening.
Again, that's the unity, isn't it?
I've been in gay bars and it's difficult to find a gay person. Like, no joke. Everyone you talk to, I'm straight. I'm here with my girlfriend. Like, no, really, and that's good.
Yeah,
great.
that is really good.
It's really good.
No, that's really
I'm
good.
not saying it's a bad thing,
No,
unless you're on the
definitely.
pool. But
What about heaven, Bradley? How much time have you spent in heaven? And what's the black gay community like?
The Heaven the Club, Heaven the nightclub.
Heaven
Yeah,
the nightclub.
Yeah, Heaven the
Tell
nightclub.
tell people about heaven first, because there might be some people that don't know.
So Heaven is a famous night spot at the Arches at Charing Cross, where they now hold GAY, I do believe. And when I used to frequent Heaven, it was like 20 years now, Marsha. 20 years ago I started going there.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
24 years ago was the first time I ever went there. I was 15. A friend of mine took me there.
Yeah, when he wasn't allowed to be out in a club.
I didn't even know that I was gay or where I was going. And we worked together, and she said, "Oh, I know this place. I think you'd like it." And I was like, all right. So we got ready, and we went out, and we got in there, and I was in there for about...
He liked it.
I was in there for about half an hour, and I started to notice that there was all this, like, female to female, male to male contact happening. And I said, oh, I know why she brought me here. We never spoke about it. But yeah.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I loved it. It was great.
You loved it so much you keep going back?
I went back all the time.
Every flaming week.
Every
I've even
Wednesday.
been. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
honestly, it's not just that though. The whole concept of the club is that the unity's all in there. So back then you would have had the whole of what we call gay pride now in heaven.
Yeah,
on
so
a
they
Wednesday.
used to have different nights, and on a Wednesday night was a night called Fruit Machine, and all my old school heroes out there will know. It was an amazing night, and it was a big R&B, hip-hop, bashment night, and everybody that was anybody that knew about the night would come, right? So I'd be out on a Tuesday afternoon walking down the road in Hammersmith, just like, chilling. And there's roadmen walking next to me, like proper bad man from road. You know these dudes that
The proper ones in the Averex.
Yeah?
Them times there it was Averex jackets, Armani jeans.
People up on the stage to dance and
It's
strip,
so
and you can win stuff,
extravagant.
innit? Yeah, I've been. It's amazing. Loved it.
So I would then go to Heaven on a Wednesday night, and the same bad man that I see walking down the street on Tuesday is in there on his head in the middle of the dance floor doing the bicycle. Yeah, skinning out to Dirty Wine and all these things.
Seriously.
Yeah, I just see you yesterday, Hammersmith. Listen, and then you go back and you see him again on Thursday. Don't bother to talk about what you saw last night.
Yeah,
Like, just that never
basically,
happened.
That's how heaven was. Honestly, I used to.
It was a
I'd
little
be
hidden
like,
gem.
Oh my god! Like they're bare rude boys. They're winding up with each other. They're touching each other. They're all sexy. They all look good. They're all the kind of guys that like you would expect to have 10 baby mother, but no.
Some of them did.
Oh my days!
And still went to Heaven on a Wednesday.
Oh, that's what makes it so crazy, people. Literally, that's how much things have changed on that level. So, gay AY now.
Gay.
Sorry, I don't want to just offend. GAY now. What's that like?
I've been to that, but I think Heaven's better. I mean, I think GAY is more for like the younger generation. I thought I didn't know. I thought that's how I thought when I went there, and I think maybe me and my mate went on the wrong night because it was like they were playing just like 90s pop, and it was really cheese, and I wasn't really feeling it. But it's still a good place to go if you're part of the community and you want a place to an inclusive place where you can be yourself and be around people that are just like you. Yeah, good stuff. I was just going to say, actually, there's an event that I found out about a few years ago, and I've forgotten the name of it. I'm going to try my hardest to remember. But I didn't know that these types of things existed until then. And I was like, I want to go to this. So it's basically a rave, and they're a events company, and they put on these raves, club nights, strictly for women. So when you go there, you won't find no man in the thing. It's just women.
You like that, Sweetness?
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, I want to go and experience what this is like. And it was just amazing. And just like all that girls there.
There's
just
a lot of men that would like that, though.
Females that were there with their partners. But yeah, it was nice because I think some women are obviously lesbians. And they're maybe not necessarily always lesbians. Maybe there were some women there that were straight. I didn't meet any straight women there. But the point I'm trying to make is some women feel like when they go out clubbing, there is this of
harassment.
From men. From not all men. I know there are many good men out there that don't do this kind of thing, but you do feel like there is that, and you're on the dance floor, and some men that just feel like they have agency to touch you without permission, and it's just like, do you know what I mean? So that's why this has obviously become a thing, and that's why these women created it, and this safe space for women to go out, rave, and feel like they can be themselves, and not, and not have this, added pressure. Can I dance and be intruded upon? Do you know what I mean? So I loved it, and yeah.
That might be good for somebody within the Muslim community that felt like that as well, because they have women-only gyms, women-only sauna sessions, women-only swimming sessions, and that is designed, again, for difference and diversity. So that could be quite inclusive, actually. And also, that just brings me on to the point, actually. Bradley, you're going to tell me, why is it that being gay, a gay lesbian, is more acceptable to a lot of the male community? Do you find that though?
I think, yeah. There's a lot of layers to that question.
Yeah, well, let's
quite
get through them.
Let's get through them.
Let's go.
So I think that being the idea of being a lesbian to gay men is easier, sits better with them, because the idea in itself is attractive to straight men.
To straight men, okay.
Yeah. The idea of lesbians, that's attractive to gay men.
Yeah, but
why? To straight men, sorry, because it's a genre. For one, that gets a lot of visits on porn sites, etc. It's a thing that straight men, like to fantasize about. It just is. Whereas a gay man, straight men are not gonna admit.
Why? What's going on there?
Well,
I know you're not a straight man. Okay, so my question is, what do you think is going on there? Because obviously I don't know.
There's no threat. There's definitely no threat from a lesbian to a straight man. If you're a gay man...
Depends on what lesbian.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've known lesbians to be quite formidable, to be honest.
To be honest, most lesbians I find are bisexual or pansexual. A lot of lesbians have children that are now lesbians, but not just that. It brings us back to that same thing that we were saying earlier, because what you're saying is gay men are attracted, straight men don't mind lesbians, attracted to the idea of lesbians, the man said, to women, blah, 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 blah. So what do you think turns off homophobic men? What makes a man homophobic? What do you think?
The idea of being penetrated, definitely, is something that, and God knows where that comes from. Like, some people could be coming from places of trauma, where as children they were abused, and they have that reaction trigger to the idea of that happening again. Generally, I think that is that intrusion, that potential act of violence, that element of threat is something that is a feature in the homophobia and the fear, I think.
Okay, Sweetness, the same to you, basically. What in your mind, for you, maybe from your experiences or what you already know, etc., what do you think? Why is there such different concepts for different types of people, how they think differently? I'll just give you my view 1 minute. I just don't think it's anybody else's business what anybody else does with their sexuality, to be honest.
I agree, I was going to say that.
Nobody's coming to ask me, as heterosexual as I am, I've got 3 children, what I do when I do it. Nobody has that discussion with me. So I don't understand where this interest, I mean, you kept saying people are more interested now, interested. What are they interested in? The concept, the idea of the actual act?
Interested in how it relates to them, because there are so many different options. People feel freer to explore themselves now, and how can you explore yourself if you don't know what the options are? So therefore,
or you don't know what you like.
Well, so you might talk to people that you
they even like anyway, and
are expressing they have more experience, or that are like confident in a certain area that might be able to. There's just interest
The same argument applies. When you said what you said earlier, FIIGS just reminded me of the whole argument and debate that's going on in society now about same-sex toilets and how, and like, it's, why are you so interested in what people are doing in the bathroom? They're going in there to have a wee and maybe have a, do the other thing. Like, what? It's not your business. Let them go and do the thing, innit? What does it matter if it's same sex? You go in, you do your thing, you come out. Like.
My mum's nearly 70, right? She'll be 70 in March. And she said to me the other day, we were watching something and there was a same-sex toilet and there's been all this stuff in the news. And she said, well, why don't they just introduce one for transsexuals and then we have 3?
Oh, my God. That's going to make it even worse. Goodness me.
And I was like, well, there's already 3 because you've got the baby change or disabled toilets. There's potentially 4 separate spaces now that we need to,
It's just ridiculous. I just think it's ridiculous.
Well, for me, people should stop going toilet in public places. That should just be reduced full stop. But to be honest, yeah.
They've invented the shiwi. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. In Europe, these things are common. Apparently, somebody can put me straight if I'm wrong, but I knew somebody that was German. I used to hang around with her. She told me that guys in Germany, from young children, they are made to sit on the toilet. They do not go to, they don't, because it's cleaner. And she has a husband who stands up and goes to the toilet, and it drives her mad in this country. She says, in Germany, we don't have that. Because everybody sits down, man, woman, and child. So, each to their own. It's just that you get so indoctrinated, you get so caught up in what you know, what you believe. Change is difficult, but people get used to same-sex toilets. It's much more economical as well.
It's interesting to me to think, I don't know, I'm lucky, I'm privileged, I'm a guy. I've never really had to worry about going to the toilet and having somebody spy on me or, a camera set up or like an understool scenario. Like, this is a threat to people. People think about it before they use public bathrooms. And if you now have to consider whether or not you're going to be attacked while you're in there by a potentially predatory person that's disguised as somebody else,
usually a policeman.
I can see where the concern is coming from, but I think these are things that we need to manage carefully as a society. They really are.
I agree. This tune that's playing at the moment is called "I Want to Be Yours," and basically it's by the Arctic Monkeys, and it is designed to be themed with what we're talking about. I know a lot of you ain't going to enjoy it, so we're going to switch it up. We're going to get into Girly. She's quite cool. We're going to listen to this tune. This tune's quite cool. It's quite clever. Here lyrics.
We're the cool teens. We look good in ID magazine, desperately trying to make life more exciting. You got the come out nows and the 2 shy gals, the prom queens and the foreign pen pals. So, Dad, don't tell me what to do. I promise one day I'll make it up to you. And when Mum asks where you've been, I say please leave me alone. I'm 17. I want someone I can call at 2 a.m. when I've got that restless feeling again. Just wanna jump the gates of a closed pub, drink beer all night and have a laugh. I wanna have a cute shake on my arm, make the boys swoon and the girls all gasp. But when my mum asks where we met, I'll say it's just this girl that I met on the internet. The internet. The internet. She's just this girl that I met on the internet. The internet. The internet. She's just this girl that I met on the internet. I feel aggy and I wanna waste time trying to fight the feeling that I wanna run and hide. I know school's a bore, life feels like a chore. Scared that you're boring cause you saw Snapchats of you snoring. But crying doesn't help your problems, and bunking the bus or the train won't solve them. I spend my whole life putting up with people's shit because I need them. I love you but I'm seething, I'm grieving, heaving. It's easier to be cool if you're hot. Wear too much makeup and be called a thought. Posing with surgical masks, Polaroid cameras and giving ourselves
Okay, so these two experts in here are telling us that Gurney is giving Lily Allen vibe.
Yeah, we were saying was getting that vibe and just talking about how much we loved her. and
Do
how
you like
iconic-
her?
How iconic she was for the time. Like, what was it you said? Tracksuits
With
and
the,
no,
ball
Air
gowns
Maxes and
Air
ball gowns.
Maxes.
Yeah, love it.
That was a look,
She
man.
was like the first person to go viral off of the internet, I think, as well. Like,
That is
what
a
was the
look.
track?
She
I remember I
had
used
so
to
many.
rinse it out.
But I know the one that you're talking about. London, was it LDN?
I think it was.
LDN,
I think it was LDN,
yeah.
Bit of Lily Allen there. What?
Yeah, Girlie's giving raw, edgy. I like it. It's a good sound.
Gonna have to check her out. Yeah, this is the one. I remember. This takes me back
LDN, yeah.
to the
London
older.
Tad.
What's it called? Channel U days.
Yeah, Channel U. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my God, the
Oh my
amount of
God, that was back with like MSN.
hours I wasted
Yeah,
listening
yeah.
to that channel and texting in to get a request.
To all my MSNers.
Oh my God, MSN, MySpace. Gosh,
Wow.
we're showing our age
You
now.
Twitchers know nothing.
Honestly, these two are around the same age, so it's quite cool. They can literally share interests. I'm so out of it. By that time, I was like, nah, no, technology's not for me.
I literally remember when MySpace was still about, and I had a MySpace account, and I was using, and obviously I've been doing music mainly all my life, so I was using that to like share my tunes and stuff. And then Facebook came out, and all my friends were like, "What are you doing on MySpace? You need to get over to Facebook." So I like literally deleted my
nice
MySpace
one.
account and moved to Facebook.
Nice one. I've probably never come off it since.
Nope, they're still on it.
Listen, I want to know what makes music gay, in the sense of why is it that so many gay people love Freddie McQueen? Is that his name? Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury, guys.
And who's
is
the
she
Queen?
meant.
Who's
Queen,
the
the band.
Queen?
Rested.
There you
God
go.
rest his soul.
There you
RIP,
go. There you go.
legend.
What's that about? Because on Spotify, there's an actual playlist called Chichi Man Playlist, and it's got some mad tunes on it, like just normal tunes, like Whitney Houston and Diana Ross, and why
I
is
think
it?
what makes a tune an LGBT tune is if it's like, if for example you mentioned Diana Ross, there are some singers that are just so iconic that they just speak to the LGBT and gay community.
Yes.
And like for example the track you started the show with,
Yes.
I'm coming out.
Yes.
We all know why
That is an
Come
anthem.
on, I'm coming out.
That is an
It
anthem.
says it in the song.
It's just an anthem.
And I think
Well, I think we've adopted that though as a community.
Yes, we
No?
have.
But I think
And
she
also
sang
think
it for us originally.
She did. She definitely did. And also, I think the dance house music scene, LGBT community love that. And if you're, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's the club scene. You're in the
This
dance,
is
just
the
living your best
living
life. You're not
tune
caring about who's
for
looking at
gay
you.
people, LGBT. What?
During the 80s as well, like it had just been decriminalized, and there was a massive upsurge, like insurgence of being free, and kind of the 80s was all about expression
is.
and
It's
being bold.
Timing
It was
has
just-
a lot to do with it as well.
Timing is everything.
It could be a
and-
song that had
Yeah.
nothing to do with
Yeah,
anything to do
yeah.
with it.
But the time,
But because it came out then, it's like it's
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
anthem.
It became everybody's anthem of the era. And so everyone's grown up then with these influences behind them. There's
Yeah, because I know man that won't dance to this because it's gay. It's simple.
been in every gay movie ever made, I think. There's movies that I've seen about gay love stories. This song is in there. Like, it's just an anthem. And there's loads of them. And also now you've got the whole cabaret circuit and all those beautiful drag queens out there that do these numbers.
Yes.
And they make these
Can I just plug Freedom Bar
already
Soho?
iconic
If
moments.
you don't know about Freedom Bar Soho, you need to get
We
to
love
know.
Freedom.
I used to perform there quite regularly. Soul Tuesdays is the night to go down if you want to see me there. But yeah, they've got so many nights on throughout the week, and they've got drag queens that just put on amazing shows.
I
So
was
yeah,
at
definitely
the
check it out.
Two Brewers in Camden on the High Street on Sunday, and they also have drag queens and different acts going on there, different events all throughout the week, and it's a great place to go and hang out with all the boys.
And this is it, you see. You were saying that guys don't mind their girlfriends going out with gay guys. That's crazy. That's wild because he's still a guy, but because of the sexuality now, it's cool.
What's happening? What's happening now is you can no longer be a person that is gonna hang with a higher end crowd and still get on with these madnesses. It's impossible. I've got a really good friend who is a partner of another really good friend of mine, and we've become really good friends because of his open, honest interest in not only me as a person and my friendship with his partner, but his own relationship with his daughter, who they were estranged for many years. She's now a teenager. He's trying to work his way back into her life and earn a place. And her best friend is gay. He doesn't really know how to be around gay people. He's met me, and since meeting me, he says things like, I now know and understand a bit more. I like gay people now. Because
love that.
until
I
it's
love
not about
that.
me though, it's
No, I
about
understand
knowing
that. I
somebody
get it.
that has changed your view. But it was only his intention to want to have a better relationship with his daughter, because his daughter said to him, Dad, if you can't get behind this, me and you are never going to work. It's my best friend. He's been there for me when
I
you
love
weren't.
that.
And he is making a massive, massive, massive effort. For me, that's a great character trait. But also, you cannot move forward in this social climate and try and dig your feet into the ground and stay where you are. Like, you're getting way left behind, and nobody's you might not even be able to catch up if you leave your feet stuck in the ground for too long. It's not gonna happen, because the world is moving at such a pace and everybody else wants to keep moving. So that makes the momentum even quicker and stronger and faster.
Welcome, DJ Mr. Blue.
DJ
Hi,
Mr. Blue,
you just
welcome,
entered
welcome.
the
Just entered
building.
the building.
Yeah, hi, this is my brother Bradley, and you know Sweetness. Yeah, so basically, man like Eminem, he's been on stage with Elton John. He's had to apologise to the gay community loads of times. He does his best now to keep homosexual slurs out of his mouth, and it's mad because the world of hip hop is changing. Look at Little Nas, ain't he going around dressing up in women's clothing? Ain't that happening? No,
What's
ain't that
really
actually
interesting
happening?
about
Like
Eminem?
man's cross-dressing
Yeah,
left, right,
yeah,
and centre,
yeah.
and that never used to be a thing in hip hop because NWA said no to that, and they literally it really wasn't the thing. And then you got certain men that started coming out with fashion and fashion. Well, David Beckham was one of the first one. Man wore a sarong in the 90s. So these things are deep in the sense of influence. Again, is massive, and it's just mad. The British public, especially, they love to follow. So at the moment, a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon of the LGBTQ community, and it's plus. I better get the plus thing right. Yeah, they've jumped on the bandwagon, and so be it. Like Bradley says, there's a lot of people that are still digging their heels in, and you will get left behind.
I was just going to say, the really interesting thing about Eminem is that obviously his rhetoric and narrative and everything that he talks about is very kind of like anti. But he tells, there's a story that Elton John tells, you can have a look, and it's about when he got married. And Eminem bought him and his partner 2 diamond-encrusted cock rings.
That's it. Brilliant.
That was the wedding gift.
Appropriate.
That was the wedding gift that Eminem.
Appropriate.
That is the problem with ignorance. So that's the problem with ignorance or uneducated people or people that don't know. The problem is now, in this day and age, a lot of us are starting to realize we have family members.
This
and
is a
friends
man that is speaking.
who are different.
He's come in at the end.
And
He
as
hasn't
I
even
raise
been
my daughter, I tell her,
beautiful.
no one can be like you. And we don't want everyone to be like you, so you have to allow everyone to be different. Yeah, everyone is, otherwise, boring. Yeah, because if you dress like me, it ain't working, yeah? You do your thing, I do my thing. Yeah,
We was born different for a reason. We're not all supposed to be the same.
Absolutely. And that's the truth, and that's the truth of it all. And so we were speaking about being different, born differently. We're speaking about the music. We're speaking about all of that. I've got another point to make. In the meantime, I'm going to play Let's Hear It for the Boys.
Big tune.
My dad said the world's gone upside down because I know this tune. Let's hear it for the girls, you know. I don't know about this and hear it for the boys thing.
I just want to say big shout out to my sister because this is her tune as well. And rest in peace, Etem. We love you.
So you can hear the sexual connotations in this, can't you? I love a bit of 80s pop. Hey, I want to big up the Sweetness for her show that she played before, and I want to big up the garage. Is it GK that played before you? Yes, GK. Your set's always so heavy, my brother. Mr. Blue, DJ Mr. Blue is in the building. He's just popped out as well. He does an excellent set. I think we got Charmer on tomorrow, with Charmer and Jem in the morning. Have we got a morning show? We got Frisky in the morning. He'll be spinning some tunes for you. I want to big up the Hub Live Radio. I want to big up our Forgotten Neighbours. Don't forget Mondays, guys. Soup Kitchen, Chiswick High Road, Hot Cup of Soup. We're feeding loads of people these days. It's getting popular. It shouldn't be. That's an oxymoron, but it is. I want to big up all my listeners out there. Big up my cousin Terry. Big up Jono. Big up yourself. And while I select the next tune, my special guest Bradley is going to tell you about the day he done drag. Let's talk about that. No, not oh God. Did you think that I wasn't going to bring that up? Yeah, I forgot, but for like 2 seconds, we're talking about that. Thank you.
So this was a big deal because it's the only time I've actually ever done drag. There are pictures somewhere. I don't have them. But there are pictures. This was actually a really good day. I was lucky enough to go to a party, and the party was at a very famous lady's house. And I don't think she'll mind me saying. I'm going to drop a few names. Yeah. So the party was at Carol Vorderman's house. We know Carol. Carol from Countdown.
Like literally, Sweetness is going nuts here. You're going to have to hear how she's getting on.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
Carol!
So
I love it.
I was 25, 26, and I was dating one of her friends, and
That is so cool.
she was having this party. It was her 50th birthday party, and it was in Bristol at her house, and it was a 70s themed fancy dress, right? So I was like, who am I going to go as? Who am I going to go as? Who am I going to go as? What's it? I know. Any guesses? Everybody's seen Austin Powers, right?
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to go as Foxy Cleopatra.
Yeah.
So Beyonce's in that film, right? And she plays a character called Foxy
Here
Cleopatra.
for it.
And I was, big in my boots back then, you know? 26, hot and all that. No jokes. But I decided I was going to go as Foxy Cleopatra. So she wears hot pants. She wears hot pants and like a boob tubey thing, halter neck number in the actual film. But I decided I was going to wear this gold catsuit and heels, stilettos, like a nice trimmed waist belt, and have my makeup done and go in full drag. So I did, yeah. It was amazing. I looked the part, I looked great. I'm not going to lie. But do you know what? Ever since that day, I have had so much respect for anybody that can last more than an hour and a half in a pair of heels. What?
Did you tuck?
I tucked, yeah, I did tuck.
How did you find that?
Okay.
Hang on, because this is definitely talk. I am not in the community to even know what that means. What? Oh!
Do you get it? You work it out.
Now she knows, guys. Now she knows.
Now she knows. Nobody told her. She just worked it out on her own. Clever clogs.
Clever girl.
Yeah, so I did tuck. And there's many different ways that you can tuck. So, you can kind of like tape and tuck, or you can like sock and tape and tuck. Like there's lots of different...
There's things that you can buy. Apparently. I didn't even know this until recently, but it's all there.
So if you tape and tuck, you have to make sure that you've got no pubic hair.
Well, this is why you could use a sock.
What does a sock do?
Well, it stops the hair and the balls from getting stuck
Right, hold on a minute.
the tape.
Okay, so where do you put the sock?
So, well, this is what I did anyway. I don't know what
let's hear
everybody
it,
else
let's
does.
hear it. Go on,
This is
go on,
what
let's hear
I
it.
did.
Remember, we spoke about him earlier. He's creative.
So, it wasn't a sock. It was like a nylon, like a tights, right? Like a tights material. So, like a stocking, basically. So, I wrapped it up, my junk, in the stocking. And then I positioned it nicely between my legs under, as you do. You tuck it in. And then you tape the stocking at the back. But so that,
Okay, I kind of get
underneath
it.
you, so that you make that area as flat as possible.
Yes.
And you don't have this
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
camel
but-
toe
Oh,
pop
yeah.
which
Oh
could potentially
my
be the
days.
case.
So
Extra labia.
You have respect now for people that wear high heels.
I was saying, the heels was worse than the tucking. Back to your question. I did tuck, and the tucking was okay, but the heels were a killer. I wore those heels for 4 hours, right?
How?
In great pain. With great difficulty. For an hour and a half, I was fine. Absolutely fine. Got to the party, put them on, got out, totted around, danced for a little bit, totted around, you have a couple of drinks, fine. Then, all of a sudden, I think my feet swelled up or something. I don't know what happened. But I could not...
That's exactly what happened.
I couldn't spread, you can't spread your toes around, so they're just scrunched. And then you're literally on these hoofs. It was the most painful thing. I did it for 4 hours, and I was like, fuck this.
Do you remember, what do you think was the worst part of your foot, that was hurting the most?
Before he answers, this is so interesting because don't forget, we're talking to a man.
It was definitely my toes and the bridge. The bridge.
The balls of the feet, ladies, when you're wearing heels and you had them on for hours, and just that bit, what I'm talking about is, when your toes are bent like that, that's the balls. The bit, it's kind of like your knuckles of your toes. You're basically on them for 4 hours. It's killer, man.
So these
that
were
used to kill me the most, and the toes.
stilettos
Don't know
with
how we do it.
a rounded toe. So my toes were scrunched together, and that was the pain. And then they were like 5 inches tall. So I was almost like leant forward. You have to
Were they
correct
nice,
your
Brad?
They're
Were they
really nice.
shoes?
I still got them.
I was just about to say, do you still have them? And he wouldn't give them away, you know. Or he
I still
won't
got
ask
them.
anybody, what size do you have? What shoes that you could have? No,
In a
they're
size
his.
8. Do you know I had to hunt around for those shoes on
That's
the day
the
that I
same
bought
size
them.
as your
What?
niece.
I'll never get rid of those. They're lovely shoes. But yeah, I've never worn them since, and it was painful. I've got so much respect for women that wear shoes for many hours.
I love that.
I really
Thank
do.
you.
Anybody,
yeah,
not
exactly.
even just women, anybody that
Yeah,
wears shoes.
lovely.
People that can dance in shoes.
Inclusive.
Come on, anybody that wears
Inclusive.
heels. Really do.
And what about you, Sweetness? Have you ever done anything as extravagant as that?
I haven't, you know. I do want to though. I've been thinking maybe next Pride I'll go in like drag, but as a man. That'd be cool.
That would
We'll
be
go as a king
really
instead
cool.
of the queen. Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Get my
Is-
sister to do my makeup. She loves all that.
Is
sort
it
of
a
stuff.
thing? Is it a thing for lesbian women? I know it's a thing for gay men. This man and woman role, because to be honest, in most relationships, there's already parent-child role, and then obviously you.
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
talk
know.
to me.
Maybe some of them maybe, and I think you can see it's apparent in my relationship. When I was with a woman, I was with her for 2 years, and I would have thought, because I consider myself to be quite masculine, but then I'm quite feminine as well. But then it depends on the day, like kind of thing as well. So it was funny because when I got with her, she was very tomboyish. She didn't wear dresses. She didn't really wear makeup. She'd always wear tracksuits and stuff. So then it kind of became that I was the more feminine one, but it kind of just happened by
Was
accident.
you wearing
because
more makeup?
not
And
necessarily. I was still being me. But if you was to see us together, you would definitely be like, she's the more masculine one.
yeah. But is that a thing when you're in the relationship? I know it's a thing when you're looking out of the relationship. When I'm looking, I can clearly, I think
No, I
I can
don't
clearly
think so. I
identify
didn't necessarily see her that way. She was just my
who she
girl,
was.
who
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And yeah. But I think maybe for other people, maybe they need to create a distinction so that they're able to better understand it in their heads. I don't know. But I mean, because nowadays you have, there's a wide spectrum of, like for example, you have feminine lesbians, and then you have like studs. Do you know what I mean? So there's a
That's
differentiation
what
in
I'm
that
saying.
sense.
So there's even a title for it all.
There are, but I feel like these are tribes of people rather than roles that they play within the relationship. So you can
Okay.
have a stud that is with a lipstick lesbian, and they're right, it's lipstick lesbian, right?
Okay.
So these are the pretty, feminine, ladylike, girly, right, and so you can
This
have
is their
that.
conversation. Hang on, Brad. Hold it. Let me just pass on, right? Because I don't know nothing about it. Let's just listen and learn.
You can have that juxtaposed image.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that that's necessarily the role you take on within the relationship.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, and it works the same in any relationship. I think you can have a male and a female, and the female is very ladylike and very kind of like, you know, ladylike, and the male is very alpha, masculine, strong, and might not necessarily go out to work every day and bring in the money. The woman does that. Like, there's no definite role.
Yeah.
But I think as an image, it is something that you see
Yes.
and come across, and that maybe sometimes people are attracted to what
And I think
they're
some
not.
people play up to it as well. Definitely.
Definitely people do play up to it. They choose what their tribe, but you also are attracted to what you're not.
Yeah.
So you will, you know, if you're very ladylike, you might go for somebody that is
The opposite.
more masculine.
Yeah. Or
It-
you might not.
Or you might not. I've known, you know, like to go for like.
Yeah.
It really depends on the
100%.
on the person. But yeah, I think it's once you have picked your tribe, you can really play on that image, can't you? And you know, dress up to it or dress it down. And some people find it's just their everyday go-to. That's
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I like to mix it up. Some days I can be really feminine, wear a little neck scarf, and you know, bit of blusher. Not
Love it.
often,
Love
but
it.
sometimes. And then
Love
more time than not, I find myself quite balanced in my feminine, masculine energy. People tell me that they find my balance quite evident. But I'm comfortable with that. And there wasn't really Oh, I guess there was a period of my life where I kind of played up to the more feminine element of my character, but only because I was exploring it. And you want to feel pretty sometimes.
I could say
Really,
the same,
you just
though,
do.
because I get what you're saying though. I'm a woman,
Sometimes
and
you
I
wanna
think,
feel pretty.
I mean, when I was younger, when I was growing up,
I
and
love
teenager,
it.
I was very much a girly girl when I was a kid, and like dressing up, and I liked the Barbies. And then as I got older and entered puberty and started wearing makeup, and I'd love to put, get my nails done and all the rest of it. Whereas my sister, for example, wasn't really as girly as me when she was. So when obviously later on in life, when I did start, owning my sexuality and living my true authentic self and stuff like that, she was like, it didn't register with her, 'cause she was like, you've always been the one that was more girly, and it's like, well, that doesn't, just because I haven't expressed this side of me doesn't mean to say it wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I definitely can relate to what you're saying. You don't always want to look pretty. Sometimes you want to just, and I mean, the beauty of it now is I can do that without feeling like anyone's going to be judging me.
Yeah, I love
do you know
that.
what I mean?
Because you actually are a woman. Yeah, so that makes a whole heap of difference. I think, to me, I'm jealous. I think you guys are lucky. I think I am, because I only have one way of being, in the sense of, on a fun level, like an enjoyment level. I find that I only attract men. Women, it don't do it. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I don't energy. I don't have that energy for that. So to me, that's boring. So you guys have got a variety of variety is the spice of life, right? And you guys are living it to the full. So who's to say anything about it? Anybody that does say anything, they're jealous. That's literally my view, guys. We haven't got long to go. I mean, literally, this is the end of the show. We've got minutes. I'm going to get you guys to collectively choose a tune that you'd like to play, and see what they come up with. It's got to be collective. You've both got to decide together on one song. You've only got time for one song. Yeah, so let's listen to this discussion. Right, okay. So you come over here, B, and stick it in. He's got his tune all lined up. I think we even discussed it in the car. I think I heard a little clip of it, and the tune's good. I just want to tell you about Bad Brains. Have you heard of Bad Brains before? They're a rock band, but they're black. They are completely black, and the lead.
I haven't heard of them.
The lead guys, the lead singer is a Rasta. The whole band is totally punk rocker black people.
And what are they called again?
They're called Bad Brains, and they've
I
been.
need to go and check them out. They sound good.
They do sound good, but they've been in trouble for homophobic slurs. You see.
Oh no.
They've been they're
Maybe
on the
not.
naughty
We
list.
don't like that.
They're on the naughty list.
They're going to get put on the naughty
But
list. I'm not going to go check them out now.
interesting. Yeah, do. It's interesting to find out. Like, literally, I've done a bit of research, like I said, and it's just been so interesting to find out all the different genres of music that are into it and not into it. There's a guy in Jamaica called Major P. He is singing out for LGBT community. He loves it all, and he just doesn't understand, and he's cussing everybody that's not. Like, and I love that, because he's
Big
doing
up yourself. What's his name?
Major P.
Major P.
It's spelled differently as well. It's spelled MAJAH.
Major
Yeah,
P.
Major,
Like it, Major P.
P. Yeah, so that's who he is, and he's on your side, guys. He's in Jamaica doing it
Love
as well.
that,
So
love that.
respect to him. Well, here's the last tune. This is the tune that we've decided to play. I'm going to rewind it so that you guys get the fullness of it. And this is the first time that you're hearing it, isn't it, Sweetness?
It is indeed.
Okay, and over and out, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to stay tuned in to the Hub Live Radio. Don't forget to support the cause. Don't forget our forgotten neighbours. Don't forget everybody who's been tuned in today. Big up. See you guys next Thursday. Okay, gonna have a rewind again because the tune's hard, yes. Oh, hold on a minute. I've been a bit rude. I didn't say thank you to my guests. Even, and you know what? It's great timing, guys, because Mr. DJ, Mr. Blues just walked in. So it's a great time to say goodbye. Everybody can say goodbye all at the same time. Bradley, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to have this interview. I hope everybody is enlightened. I hope everybody goes find their true self. I hope everybody stays true to themselves. Big up yourself, B.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. And I've enjoyed the company and the conversation. It's been great. Big up to our forgotten neighbours and this opportunity. And I'd love to come back.
I would like to second that. It's been amazing. I've loved every second of it. And thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been amazing meeting you, Bradley. And I've also enjoyed the conversations and the vibes. It's been great. Big up yourself, FIIGS.
Excuse me.
Sorry, I nearly forgot DJ Mr. Blue. How could I? How dare I?
It's not that. It's just I just want to say bye in a very lovely way. In a hip-hop way. We believe in peace, love, unity, and having fun. The Hub Live Radio.